You know the old saying, April showers brings May flowers? Well, it's May, and I decided to play a game that involves flowers. Well, that and zombies. Plants vs. Zombies is exactly that. Zombies are invading your home, and as such, you set up an army of plants to defend your brains. These plants range from things like pea shooters that shoot, peas, to walnuts that are like fortified barriers, to cacti that pop balloons, and even potato mines that go spadow. Yes, spadow. See? The game is easy to pick up and incredibly addicting. In order to play, you only need the mouse, so it's not like the controls are overly complicated. In order to plant a plant, you just click the plant you want and choose an open tile to place it on. Of course, there are a few plants that have a few placement requirements, such as the lily pads only being able to be placed on water, but most plants can be placed anywhere. But of course, you can't just keep spamming the same plant over and over. Each plant has a sunlight requirement. In the daylight levels, suns will drop at a steady rate. These normal-sized suns are worth 25 points. In addition to this, you can and should plant sunflowers, which will generate more sunlight for your planting pleasure. Once you have enough sunlight points, you can plant a flower that you wish to include in your army. In nighttime stages, things are a bit more complicated though. Although you get access to a puff shroom which is free to plant, it has a very limited range. You can still plant sunflowers, but they aren't as effective. In addition, sunlight doesn't rain down from the heavens, since the moon is up. So to counter this, you can plant sun shrooms. These sun shrooms give out 15 points of sun at first, but after a few minutes they'll grow in size and pop out the standard sunlight. So as you can see, the playing field is either 5 or 6 rows and 9 columns across. For the most part, each plant can only fire directly in front of them, and zombies don't walk between rows. There are a few plants that can fire across the field, such as the 3-headed three-peater. It involves a bit more strategy on placement, as you want to try to place plants evenly to ensure you don't have a weak lane. If a zombie does manage to get to the far end, all is not lost. Yet. In most stages, we have a last line of defense style mechanism. In the opening stages, we have lawnmowers that will completely kill an entire line of zombies. If they reach it again, however, the game is over. In addition, later stages have holes in your defense. For example, the pool stages have a lawnmower over the water, but naturally it can't glide over it. As for the roof levels, of course the lawnmower doesn't work. So this is where the shop comes into play. As you kill zombies, you'll see that some of them will drop coins or jewels. Collecting them with the mouse will add to your wallet. You can use this cash in Crazy Dave's Tweety Dinkies, which happens to be operating out of his trunk. He primarily sells things that you can use for the Zen Garden, which I will discuss in a bit. But some items you can use for adventure mode are the pool cleaners, which take care of the lawnmower over water problem, roof cleaners, and extra seed slots. I forgot to mention that. In the beginning of the game, you're only allowed 6 plant slots. Eventually, you can buy upgrades that increase this cap to 10. This is incredibly useful, and as such, expensive. This is even more crucial in subsequent adventure playthroughs, because in those, Crazy Dave will randomly pick 3 plants that you can't skip. You don't necessarily need to use them, but it does limit what you can choose from for your own tastes. Before I forget, Crazy Dave lends some great humor to the game. He speaks in a sim-like language, and wears a cooking pot on his head like a helmet. He also freely admits that he's crazy. He doesn't appear on every level, but typically you'll find him twice per area. In addition to the standard levels, there's a few out-of-the-norm stages that are notable. The first is when Crazy Dave gives you a walnut and tells you to go bowling. There's also a whack-a-mole style level. In addition, most of the final stages of each area skips your choosing of plants and instead gives them to you randomly on a conveyor belt. You have to then strategically place these to try to survive. So how about these levels? The first is your back lawn, and is pretty standard. In addition, the first 2 or 3 stages contains a great tutorial to teach you how to play the game, in case you thought it was too complicated to learn. The second level is the same backyard, but done at night. As such, gravestones appear, and you can use the Gravebuster plant to destroy them before zombies emerge from them. The third stage is your pool, so a few aquatic plants are introduced. You'll also encounter the annoying dolphin zombie that leaps over plants or the scuba enemies, which can't be attacked normally until it surfaces. The fourth is similar, except fog rolls in, obscuring a good amount of the playfield. The fifth and final level is the roof, which will make your final stand against some of the toughest zombie types yet, like the catapult zombie, bungee zombie, and a monstrosity called the Gargantuar. It's here where you'll fight the final boss, of which I won't spoil for you because it's an epic and frenzied battle. It's around the 4th area where you'll start seeing the challenge level start to get a bit higher. Encountering the ladder and pogo zombies makes the game much more difficult, since you'll be able to bypass a lot of your defenses. You'll need to start focusing equally on defense and offense, and possibly even use a shovel to dig up some plants to replace them with others. Of course, it depends on your initial strategy on placing the plants, and whether you need to adjust or not. If you want to see how many zombies and plants there are, and the info on each, you have the Almanac. It unlocks a short while into the game, and it allows you to view information on varied characters of the game. The flowers contain damage levels, cooling times, and their powers, and the zombies show their speed and toughness, also including their special traits. There are also some humorous bios contained on both the plants and zombies. In case you get bored, there are other distractions in the game as well. You have the various mini-games and survival modes. The mini-games include more walnut bowling, a mode where you have zombies that have the traits of the plants, and a game called Zombie Jeweled, which is exactly what you would think. The survival modes have various modes like Vase Breaker, again introduced in the main adventure mode, and also a mode where you place zombies to overcome an already armed lawn. It's a neat turn of events, and it's surprisingly fun. There's also the Zen Garden. If you're running out of cash or just bored and want to kill some time to relax, you can enter this mode. You can place plants that you can buy from Crazy Dave or find in the adventure mode, grow them by watering them, feed them plant food, and spray bug repellent on them. By doing so, they'll be happy and cough up a constant supply of coins. You can also go back to refeed them once per day, and afterwards they'll be giving you money throughout the day. You can also buy Stinky the Snail, which will collect the coins for you. Feeding him chocolate will also give him a speed boost for about an hour, and he won't fall asleep until the buff is over. If you're starting to run out of room or just need some quick money, you can also sell the plants. Full-grown plants typically net you anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 per plant. It's an easy way to gain quick cash. Plants vs. Zombies is extremely fun to play, and with it being on so many media outlets, it's way too easy to access. Whether it be online as a flash game, on Steam, Origin, or even a console, if you're into tower defense games, this is a must-play. It's fun, it's challenging, and it's addicting. It's definitely worth a try. Final score? 10 out of 10. As always, I am Reaper. Check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/ReapersReviews. Happy fragging.